It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
One of the discussions that a lot of people have been curious about is the new pattern, the critical hit percentage. I saw that another YouTuber made the post today, and I disagree with him. I disagree with him completely. But what are we talking about? I'm talking about the critical hit reduction pattern. Critical hit defense pattern, is what it's called. Now, the idea behind this pattern is that you rank it up just like you rank up any other patterns. You reduce the chance that the opponent can critically hit your team by a percentage. It starts at 1% and it goes all the way up to technically 22%. 22% is the best you can get. That's like the red plus. But the average player will get like 15-ish% critical hit reduction. Okay. But what does that actually mean? We have on the blog post, here we go. So this is from Hero Wars, the guide video, one of the guide videos. I just copied and pasted it from there. It was just a good looking screenshot. The dodge or critical hit probability, it's very straightforward. The way it breaks down is if your critical hit chance is the same as the opponent's main stat, it's a 50% chance, okay? 50% chance to crit or dodge, right? Dodge versus the opponent's main stat is the same formula. And only physical hits can critical hit on Facebook and web. On mobile, magic attacks can hit, but we're not talking about mobile here, all right? Increases the possibility that one of your heroes can deal double damage. What is physical damage? It's any skill that has a red damage number. Okay, some skills have purple. Those are magic damage. Some skills have green. That is either healing or pure damage. Okay, some skills, even though they are modified by magic attack, actually deal physical damage. An example of this is our girl Iris. Iris's bitey is modified by magic attack, but it does physical damage. So bitey can crit. That makes sense. Physical attack, it can crit. There are three heroes whose basic auto attacks are not physical damage. Every other hero in the game, with the exception of Satori, Celeste, and Augustus, asterisk, every other hero in the game, their basic auto attacks are physical damage. Okay, so they all can critical hit as well. If a hero has critical hit stat, and not every hero does, that's kind of how critical hit works. Now, the question, the critical hit defense pattern, it's not good. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not great. Zhu's critical hit chance after he uses his ultimate, if all heroes are maxed, let's assume all heroes are maxed in this discussion. Whenever Zhu uses his ultimate ability, he uses his critical hit chance artifact weapon. That makes his critical hit chance roughly 60 to 63%. If I go up against a maxed critical hit reduction flag, that reduces it to about 40% critical hit rate. That's a lot, right? That's a lot. But is it though? Right? We're still talking about a random chance. We're still talking about Zhu literally being able to crit every single hit. Even though his critical hit chance is still 40-ish%, he could critical hit every single time. You could get really lucky if you're using Zhu on your team. You could get really unlucky if you're going up against Zhu. Just how it is. Just how it is. If you add in Sebastian, okay, Sebastian is one of the two heroes that can add critical hit without artifact weapons. You have Battle Song that gives critical hit chance for all allies that have the stat. Okay, so what's important about Sebastian that not a lot of people realize is Battle Song does not add critical hit to Dante. Battle Song does not add critical hit to Kark. Battle Song does not add critical hit to a hero that does not have critical hit. Battle Song only adds critical hit if Sebastian's artifact weapon buff is active. And it's only active for 9 seconds. So maybe 18 to 27 seconds total in a fight does Sebastian actually apply bonus critical hit rating. Okay, but let's say we're talking about Zhu still. It makes it a 77 to 80% chance for Zhu to crit. 77 to 80%. That's crazy high. After you drop it by 20-ish%, 60-ish% chance to crit. But Zhu can still crit every single attack. Every single attack. He can still land a critical hit on you because it reduces the chance. Okay. The same argument can be had about dodge, by the way. The dodge reduction flag, the dodge reduction pattern is exactly the same. Even if you have the dodge reduction pattern, the opponent can still dodge every time. Unless the dodge is reduced to 0, which it never will be, they can still dodge. Now, there is a whole lot of discussion about, applying Sebastian and Jet to Dante and what the percentage chance is for Dante to critical hit. That's all well and good. There are a handful of heroes that can add critical hit chance via their artifact weapon. Julius is one of them. We just talked about Zhu and Sebastian. Ishmael is another one of those heroes. You also have Yasmin that can apply a critical hit buff to your allies, right? All of those things are well and good, but even if your critical hit chance is reduced to 10%, you can still critical hit. So I think that the pattern is bad. I don't think it's worth using. Honestly, I don't think that the dodge pattern is worth using. But let's take one step further into this as to why. Okay, let's take a quick discussion about this. So whenever you're looking at, let's say we're looking at, I don't know, increased pet skill, I don't know, enemy healing, increases all healing. Let's say that you're using the War Flag recovery. Okay, not only is this a flat 10% all the time bonus healing, not bad, right? It's not random at all. It's plus 10%. Let's just say hypothetically you're using the War Flag of Recovery. I keep calling it War Flag of Restoration because druids are restoration tree druids in World of Warcraft, and I keep getting that mixed up. I would rather have the armor pattern and the attack patterns of your choice, be it magic attack and or attack, physical attack, wherever the physical attack, here we go, physical attack and armor penetration. I would rather have those than the critical hit reduction and the dodge reduction. Okay. I would rather have those. Now, there is an argument at the top end, at the very, very top end, if you're specifically going up against a critical hit team, okay, not a dodge team, not a team with any magic damage on it at all. If I'm going up against a critical hit focused team that has no dodge, that has no magic damage, that has no pure damage, then yeah, critical hit pattern would help. But you got to ask yourself, how often are you doing that? How often are you specifically going after critical hit teams? If you can afford it, if you are a top 20 Clash of Worlds guild and a champion in that guild, then you're expected to swap patterns, to swap flags, depending on the team that you're about to fight. I don't believe in doing that. I don't think it's an appreciable gain. Of course, I'm not in that, bleeding edge, speed running, top end parsing guild. Our guild is top 50. Our guild officers have not asked us to be on that level. If we ever get to that point, it would be 5,000 to 15,000 emeralds per fights. And then, and only then, would I consider the critical hit pattern. Personally, the pattern and flags that I use, I always use the War Flag of Frost. Always. Okay? Reduces the skill levels by 2. Introduces randomness on a lot of enemies, but it's at a much greater rate than the other things. And I don't really think the other things really apply that much. Honestly, I don't think flags and patterns really, really matter that much. I really don't think that they do. I think that the team composition is better. I think having the correct team of heroes and pets is better than counting on a war flag or a pattern to save you. I don't believe in any of these. I just don't. I just don't. So is the critical hit pattern good? Sure. Do I suggest you level it up? Not first. It's tied dead last for me. Dead last. It's dead last with the accuracy pattern. Dead last. There's a lot to be said about the flags. The war flag of pet strength, boosting the randomness, boosting the effectiveness of Karos's random chance to block up a lot higher. The energy gain is probably the best flag if I had to pick one specifically. But not everybody uses tanks, right? Enemy healing reduction is what I used for a long time, but whatever. I don't know that. I just don't think any of these matter. Yeah, that's what I use. Magic defense, magic attack, armor. That's what I use. Most of my teams are mages, though. Most of my teams are mages. Are the patterns active the entire fight or only active when the flag activates? Great question, Tom May. As far as I know, they're active for the whole fight. Vincent says, Frost wouldn't work in most of my battles as they don't last 18 seconds. Yeah, I'm not saying that the War Flag of Frost is the correct flag for everybody. That conversation is very specific to the main teams that all of you are building. Whatever the conversation of what's the best flag. The best flag for the majority of you is probably just going to be the tank flag, the pet flag, maybe the healing reduction flag, honestly. The ice the cake, yeah, it's like a little cherry on top. You're still getting the sundae, but the little cherry on top is nice. Yep, randomness. Yeah. Will I get a red critical hit reduction pattern? Yes, because I have them all already at red. So it's just the natural progression, right? I'll get it eventually.